2 sessions Oddity, she abruptly frowns and shuts eyes, face in painful contortion. After 100-kilogram TNT explosion in Hebei's Yanjiao, another loud noise heard an hour later. Crisis lurks in Zhongnanhai, 5 no's at the 2 sessions spark interest. Frequent unfavorable analysis on Qiang, Kai-chi has a hold over him. It's all covered in today's China Truths. 2 sessions Oddity, she abruptly frowns and shuts eyes, face in painful contortion. As reported by the Daily Mail UK, during the National People's Congress's closing session, CCP leader Xi Jinping, seated in his chair, abruptly tightened his eyes and exhibited an intense look of discomfort upon sipping tea from a cup to his left. His face contorted in pain, with his eyebrows, eyes, and the bridge of his nose tightly furrowed together. The article pointed out that the exact cause of Xi's peculiar facial expression remains a mystery, and apparently, it went unnoticed by those in his immediate vicinity. Nevertheless, it seems Xi became aware of his public surroundings, for he soon eased his expression and reverted to his prior state, regaining his usual composure. Many online users doubt that the painful expression seen on Xi Jinping's face was caused by hot water from a cup. However, Professor Zhang Tianliang, the host of YouTube channel Tianliang Times, argues that the acute discomfort displayed by Xi Jinping couldn't have resulted from being scalded by the cup's contents. Considering the meticulous service provided by the CCP's extensive team of attendants, who even use rulers to position cups in documents, the likelihood of serving overly hot water seems implausible. Furthermore, the protocol at the National People's Congress meetings has shifted from pouring water to delivering it by the cup, with its temperature precisely checked beforehand to ensure it's at a moderate level. Thus, the chances of Xi Jinping being burned are minimal. Mr. Zhang posits that Xi Jinping's expression was more likely due to sudden, severe pain elsewhere. Online speculation ranged from Xi experiencing a pancreatic cancer attack to adverse reactions from an organ transplant. Though these comments may seem mock, they tap into long-standing rumors about Xi Jinping's health issues. Last August, Xi's unforeseen absence from the BRICS Business Forum, where Commerce Minister Wang Wentao spoke in his place, fueled wide speculation. Nevertheless, Xi attended a dinner later that day. Video footage shared online showed him walking with difficulty and appearing fatigued during the BRICS summit. A former journalist from the mainland suggested Xi's no-show at the forum was due to a minor stroke. In earlier reports, Xi Jinping's walk was described as uneven, with terms like limping, gout, and stroke employed by the Liberty Times. This January, rumors abound online about Xi Jinping's dramatic weight loss, attributed to pancreatic cancer. At the close of last year, British psychic Craig Hamilton Parker forecasted for 2024, revealing, Xi Jinping is battling an illness, which is grave in nature but has been kept hidden. Professor Zhang Tianliang noted that while the actual condition of Xi Jinping's health remains unknown to us, the grimace of pain he exhibited appears to be a metaphor for Xi Jinping swallowing a bitter pill. After 100-kilogram TNT explosion in Hebei's Yanjiao, another loud noise heard an hour later. As previously reported, at approximately 7:55 a.m. on the 13th, an explosion rocked the intersection of Yingbin Road and Shuiyuan Avenue in Yanjiao, Hebei Province, causing a 4-story building to collapse and resulting in widespread devastation. Many cars were damaged on the roadside and the scene was a mess. Reports suggest that the explosion's force was equivalent to at least 100 kilograms of TNT. The Emergency Management Bureau of Shanghai City attributed the explosion to a suspected gas leak at a fried chicken restaurant in Yanjiao. 7 fatalities and 27 injuries were confirmed based on the latest data on March 14. But the disaster has not stopped there. Roughly an hour later, around 9 a.m., a second explosion occurred at the same location. Reporters observed flames flashing from underground during the explosion, accompanied by more thick smoke. Although no open fire was visible, dense smoke persisted. Residents in a residential building in Zhongnanhai, situated north of the explosion site, recounted how all their furniture was destroyed by the blast, fortunately without causing any injuries. Some villagers speculated that the explosion might have been triggered by an underground gas pipeline, given its proximity to the construction site of Metro Line 22. Following the incident, Tada Gas announced the suspension of gas supply to 50 residential communities and units in Yanjiao, effective March 13. Yanjiao is served by 2 gas companies, with Tada being one of them. The suspension also includes Zhongnanhai. According to Jimu News, around 12:50 p.m. on the 13th, authorities had cordoned off the area at the intersection of Haiyu Street and Yingbin Road near the explosion site. The building affected by the explosion was still emitting smoke, and many residents, some clad in pajamas, were gathered at the intersection. Residents said that they hadn't managed to grab essential items and hoped to return home later to retrieve necessities. This isn't the first time Yanjiao has faced such an incident. 2 years ago, in June 2022, another explosion occurred due to a business's liquefied petroleum gas cylinder, resulting in 2 deaths and 22 injuries. According to a report from New Yellow River, the 2022 explosion site was approximately 2 kilometers away from the current location. On May 16, 2022, a gas explosion rocked Building 15 in the Ersan community on Xinggongdong Street in Yanjiao, Shanghai City. 2 individuals sustained injuries, and several residents' doors and windows were damaged as well. Crisis lurks in Zhongnanhai, 5 no's at the 2 sessions spark interest. The CCP's 2 sessions, comprising the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference, CPPCC, and the National People's Congress, NPC, took place from March 4 to March 11, setting a record for the shortest duration in the history of these sessions. On March 11, the Nikkei Asian detailed these 5 key omissions in one of its articles. 1. No news conference by the Premier. On March 4, NPC session spokesperson Liu Qingjian declared that Premier Li Qiang would not be holding a press conference after this year's session, breaking a more than 30-year tradition. Going forward, there will also be no press conferences in the upcoming years. A notable instance occurred in May 2020 during the 2 sessions when the late former Premier Li Qiang highlighted that 600 million Chinese people live on a monthly income of merely 1,000 yuan, about $139.06, openly criticizing Xi Jinping's claimed successes in poverty alleviation. Wu Guoguang, a senior fellow at Stanford University's Center for China's Economy and Institutions, remarked on his X-platform account that the elimination of the Premier's press conference has effectively turned a farce into a silent film. Tomoko Ako, a professor at Tokyo University, observed that while information control has become standardized, it appears to have fallen into a vicious cycle, failing to achieve the outcomes sought by Beijing. 2. No surprises in economic policy. The omission of the Premier's press conference drew widespread attention, paralleled by a notable absence of unexpected developments in China's economic strategies. Following Premier Li Qiang's presentation of the government work report on March 5, the Hang Seng Index in Hong Kong, primarily comprised of major Chinese mainland companies, experienced a 2.6% decline. Redmond Wong, a Greater China market analyst at Saxo Bank in Hong Kong, observed that the market reacted negatively to the absence of encouraging surprises, leading to a sell-off. This comes as numerous global investors have been in search of robust support for an economy beleaguered by a persistent real estate downturn and diminished consumer spending. Despite a press conference by the CCP's key economic figures, there was a notable lack of initiatives aimed at reinforcing market confidence. 3. No diplomatic changes, including the foreign minister himself. Foreign Minister Wang Yi's press briefing conveyed a clear message: the CCP is determined to maintain its current diplomatic course. This includes nurturing strong ties with Russia, championing the cause of emerging economies in the global south, and engaging in competition with the United States and its allies. Amid speculation, there were anticipations that a new foreign minister might be introduced during the 2 sessions. However, no such indications were provided. The position of state counselor has been vacant since Qiang, the previous foreign minister, was removed from office. 4. No chances taken on security. Despite Beijing's apparent calm during the two sessions, the CCP's security was tight, with around 800,000 law enforcement, paramilitary staff, and volunteers mobilized to maintain stability. Nikkei Asia journalists experienced strict security measures firsthand. Entering the subway required not just ID checks but also luggage scans and personal searches. Journalists with official credentials were barred from Tiananmen Square, where security confiscated their passports and press IDs, thoroughly searched their belongings, and even examined personal diaries in detail. Despite meeting all requirements, journalists and 2 elderly tourists were denied entry, the latter due to not having reservations through WeChat. 5. No digressions from the Xi Jinping line. In his inaugural government work report, Li Qiang invoked Xi Jinping's name 16 times, attributing China's achievements over the past year entirely to General Secretary Xi Jinping's leadership. This instance illustrates the growing adulation for Xi. CCP officials across various regions have also openly pledged their loyalty. Analysis: Xi Jinping's isolation and surrounding dangers. The Annual Threat Assessment Report for 2024, released by the U.S. Office of the Director of National Intelligence on March 11, indicated that the party chief prioritizes the CCP regime's security and stability over addressing domestic issues, economic growth, and the quality of life for citizens. Bloomberg columnist Xu Liren observed that the CCP's annual NPC has traditionally been a highly controlled event, expressing surprise over the cancellation of the premier's press conference. She commented, as the gap between governmental economic objectives and reality widens, and public interactions with top officials diminish, it's becoming increasingly apparent that the Communist Party is distancing itself from its people. Wang He, an expert on Chinese issues, expressed that the rigidity in CCP politics is unprecedented. Xi's methods have alienated him within the party, making him a solitary figure and a focal point for discontent, leading to systemic passive resistance and widespread disengagement among officials. Though not openly discussed, there is widespread internal dissatisfaction. Anti-Xi sentiment within the CCP has escalated to a peak. While the meeting might seem dull and steady on the surface, beneath lies turbulence. People are seeking opportunities to challenge the status quo, marking the danger of the current political situation in China. Frequent unfavorable analysis on Li Qiang: Kai-Chi has a hold over him. The power struggle between Xi Jinping's confidant Li Qiang and Kai-Chi is gaining public attention. Recent actions by the CCP suggest a further erosion of State Council Premier Li Qiang's authority. Kai-Chi is the current first-ranked secretary of the Secretariat of the CCP and fifth-ranking member of the CCP Politburo Standing Committee. Analysts argue that the increased negative coverage surrounding Li Qiang signals heightened infighting among senior officials. Li Qiang finds himself caught between the influence of Xi Jinping and Kai-Chi. According to political commentator Su Ku, within the CCP hierarchy, there are essentially 2 centers of power below Xi Jinping, Xi himself and Kai-Chi. Through the reform process and the diminishment of the State Council, this dual central committee has effectively centralized authority, with Kai-Chi emerging as a beneficiary. Following the 20th National Congress of the CCP, clashes within Xi's inner circle predominantly involved Li Qiang's faction from Zhejiang and Kai-Chi's from Fujian. Initially, Li Qiang, ranked second, focused on economic matters, while Kai-Chi, fifth in rank, handled party affairs, propaganda, and security. The article suggests that if both men had aligned their interests under Xi's leadership, a balance could have been maintained. However, Xi's preferential treatment of Kai-Chi over Li Qiang has disrupted this equilibrium, weakening Li Qiang's position as the former second-in-command. Even before the formal legal diminishment of the State Council during the 2 sessions, Kai-Chi had already usurped power from Li Qiang. Xi Jinping reportedly places great faith in ancient Chinese prophecies and harbors a deep fear of death. A line from the prophetic text Hebei 2 that vaguely hints at Xi's assassination mentions a soldier carrying a bow, interpreted as a reference to someone posing future harm to Xi, with the character for Bao in their name. Suke points out that both Li Qiang and Li Keqiang have Qiang in their names, signifying strength, along with the character for Bao. Thus, with the mysterious death of Li Keqiang, Li Qiang now finds himself in a precarious position. In the event of Xi's sudden demise, a power struggle between Kai Qi and Li Qiang would ensue. The article highlights that Li Qiang finds himself in a delicate position, with both Xi Jinping and Kai Qi exerting influence over him. Firstly, upon assuming the role of premier, it was revealed by the Hong Kong media Mingpao that Li Qiang's ancestral tomb in Rian, Wanzhou, is under 24-hour surveillance. Traditionally, the Chinese associate the feng shui and security of ancestral tombs with the fortunes of families and individuals. For instance, during his ascent, Zhou Yongkong renovated his ancestral tomb. The public interprets Li Qiang's decision to guard his ancestral tomb as an indication of his aspirations for political advancement or at least a desire for such. Secondly, Li Qiang faces another challenge. In late September last year, detailed information about his wife, daughter, and their alleged involvement in corrupt practices and political business relations surfaced online. While some speculate that these revelations were orchestrated by anti-Xi factions, Suku suggests it might be an internal power struggle within Xi's camp, akin to Qin Gang's downfall at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The orchestrator of the leaks could also be Kai Qi. According to political commentator Li Lini, the CCP's repeated breaches of protocol often signal intense internal power struggles within Zhongnanhai. Despite Li Qiang being seemingly sidelined and beset by negative publicity, the real beneficiary appears to be Kai. The diminishing influence of Li Qiang implies an expansion of Kai's power. In January of this year, editorial writer Katsuji Nakazawa from Nikkei Asian noted a significant shift in power dynamics between Li Qiang and Kai Qi, especially following flooding in Hebei and Beijing last year. The panic among Hebei officials fearing embarrassment to Xi Jinping if the Xiongnan area were to be submerged prompted them to seek Li Qiang's intervention. However, despite Li Qiang's high-ranking position in the State Council, he lacks control over critical elements of the national security apparatus. Instead, Kai Qi wields this authority, leaving Li Qiang with no choice but to seek Kai Qi's assistance in managing the flooding. This led to a hasty decision to release floodwaters in Zhuizhou. Consequently, a larger area, including Zhuizhou, was inundated by floodwaters after the discharge, turning the flood into a deadly disaster. Let us know your thoughts on today's topic by leaving a comment below. If you found this video helpful, please share it with a friend. It inspires us to continue creating more quality and reliable content. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more interesting insights from China Truths. Thanks for tuning in.